Welcome to my channel, and today I want to share a story that will touch your heart and remind you of the power of love, family, and hope. This is a story about a single parent struggling through life, a child who brings light to every day, and an unexpected connection that changes everything. It's about kindness, courage, and the little moments that truly make a house a home. Let's start. Michael Carter pushed his front door open with the last bit of strength he had left, his shoulders aching and his legs heavy, after another exhausting 16-hour shift at Grant Solutions, a company that demanded everything and quietly returned nothing. The house was supposed to be empty. His 7-year-old daughter, Olivia, was spending the night with his sister, and Michael had been looking forward to nothing more than silence, a shower, and a few hours of dreamless sleep. Instead, as soon as the door closed behind him, he heard it. The unmistakable sound of running water, the soft clink of dishes, and slow footsteps moving across his kitchen floor. His heart jumped. Michael stood still, listening, every sense on high alert. He moved carefully down the hallway, his work boots echoing faintly with each step. The kitchen light was on. Someone was there. A woman stood at his sink, calmly washing dishes like she belonged there, her back turned to him. When she finally turned around, Michael froze where he stood, disbelief crashing into him all at once. It was Evelyn Grant, the founder and CEO of Grant Solutions. The woman whose name was spoken in boardrooms with reverence. The woman whose face appeared in business magazines and company emails. Yet here she was, standing in his kitchen, in a simple light-colored blouse, her hair loose around her shoulders, looking nothing like the distant executive Michael had only ever seen from across crowded hallways. She looked at him with an expression that made his stomach tighten, not shock, not embarrassment, but regret. "Mr. Carter," she said quietly, setting a plate down. "I know you weren't expecting me." Michael swallowed hard. "What are you doing in my house?" he demanded, his voice rough from exhaustion and confusion. Evelyn took a slow breath. "I came to tell you the truth about your job, about why you've been suffering." Her voice trembled slightly. "And what I'm about to tell you is going to hurt." Michael stared at her, his thoughts racing. This had to be some kind of mistake, some bizarre misunderstanding. Executives didn't show up unannounced. They didn't clean kitchens. They didn't look at employees like this. "How did you even get in here?" he asked sharply. "Your landlord," she admitted. "I told him it was a company emergency. I'm sorry, I know that crossed a line." Michael let out a bitter laugh. "You run a multi-million-dollar company. You don't do house calls, so what is this really about?" Evelyn flinched but didn't look away. "You're right," she said softly. "I don't do this, but I should have done something like this a long time ago." She gestured toward the small kitchen table. "Please, sit down." "I'd rather stand," Michael replied coldly. "And it's Mr. Carter. You've never spoken to me before today." The silence between them grew heavy. Evelyn finally pulled out a chair and sat, her posture slumping. "You're right. I've been blind, on purpose." She paused. 2 days ago, I started reviewing internal financial records that didn't make sense. I followed the numbers, and they led me to your department." Michael felt his jaw tighten. "And? Do you know why you work 16-hour shifts while others work 8? She asked. "Because we're short-staffed," he replied automatically. "We're not," Evelyn said. "Your supervisor, Richard Hale, has been reporting 3 fake employees for the past 2 years. He's been collecting their salaries and forcing you to cover the workload." The words landed like a blow. Michael grabbed the back of a chair to steady himself. "That's not all," Evelyn continued, her voice breaking. "Your performance reviews have been falsified. Your real error rate is 0.3%, the best in the entire department. But Richard reported it as 12% to keep you from being promoted." Michael sank into the chair, his legs suddenly weak. "Why?" he whispered. "Because you're too good," she said. "If corporate saw your real performance, you'd move up. And he'd lose the person doing the work of 4 people without complaint. 2 years, 2 years of exhaustion, 2 years of missed school events, late nights, and self-doubt." Michael felt anger, grief, and disbelief twist together inside his chest. "How long have you known?" I found out 2 days ago, Evelyn said. I confronted him yesterday. He denied everything. So I ordered a full audit. The proof is overwhelming. Michael looked at her. You fired him. He's suspended pending termination, she replied. But this goes beyond him. I've discovered similar abuses in other departments. Her voice cracked. I built a system that allowed this. Michael studied her face. The powerful executive he imagined didn't look like this woman sitting across from him with dark circles under her eyes and guilt etched into every line. Why come here? He asked quietly. Why not call HR? Because when I read your file, she said, her eyes filling with tears, I saw a widowed father raising a little girl alone while being slowly crushed by my company. An email wasn't enough. You deserved the truth face to face. Before Michael could respond, the front door opened. Daddy! His heart stopped. Olivia padded into the hallway in her pajamas, clutching her stuffed rabbit. His sister, Linda, followed behind her, looking apologetic. She wasn't feeling well, Linda said softly. She wanted to come home. Olivia's eyes widened when she saw Evelyn. Daddy, who's that? Michael hesitated. This is Mrs. Grant. She works at my company. Olivia tilted her head. Why is she here? Evelyn knelt down to Olivia's level. Your dad and I were talking about work. I'm sorry if I interrupted your night. It's okay, Olivia said. You're pretty. Are you Daddy's friend? Evelyn glanced at Michael, then smiled gently. I'd like to be. Olivia nodded seriously. Daddy doesn't have many friends. He's always tired. The words cut deep. As Linda quietly pulled Michael aside, her anger rising at the truth he shared, Evelyn sat with Olivia at the table, drawing pictures and listening as if nothing else mattered. And in that small kitchen, something shifted. What began as an intrusion became the start of a reckoning, one that would change a broken system, a lonely man, and a powerful woman who had forgotten what it meant to truly see people. After Linda left that night, taking one last worried look over her shoulder, the apartment grew quiet again, but it was no longer the same silence Michael was used to. Olivia sat at the kitchen table with Evelyn, coloring carefully on a scrap of paper, explaining with great seriousness the rules of butterflies and how only the kindest people were allowed to make wishes. Michael stood nearby, leaning against the counter, watching a version of his world he never imagined possible. Evelyn listened intently, nodding, asking questions, laughing softly at Olivia's dramatic explanations, as if corporate board meetings and shareholder calls had never existed. When Olivia finally yawned, rubbing her eyes, Evelyn noticed instantly. I think someone needs to get some rest, she said gently. I'm not sleepy, Olivia protested, though another yawn betrayed her. Michael stepped forward and lifted his daughter into his arms. Come on, kiddo, let's get you tucked in. Olivia wrapped her arms around his neck, then peeked over his shoulder at Evelyn. Will you still be here when I wake up? Evelyn hesitated, uncertainty flickering across her face. I hope so, she answered honestly. I like you, Olivia said simply. Michael carried Olivia to her room, helping her brush her teeth and listening to her insist on 3 bedtime stories instead of 2. As he tucked her in, he realized how long it had been since he'd felt this present, this grounded. When he finally returned to the kitchen, Evelyn was quietly stacking the drawings into a neat pile. She's incredible, Evelyn said softly. You're doing an amazing job. Michael nodded, unsure what to say. Compliments felt foreign after years of being overlooked. She doesn't usually open up to people like that. Children see things adults ignore, Evelyn replied. I think she saw me before the title. Michael leaned against the counter, crossing his arms. About the job offer, he said carefully. Is it real, or is this damage control? It's real, Evelyn answered without hesitation. I've already prepared the paperwork, but there's no pressure. If you walk away tomorrow, I'll still make sure you're compensated and protected. Michael studied her face, searching for insincerity and finding none. I need time, he said finally. This is a lot. Of course, she said, picking up her purse. Take all the time you need. At the door, she paused. Thank you for letting me be here tonight. Sitting with Olivia reminded me of everything I've ignored for far too long. After she left, Michael stood alone in the kitchen, staring at the butterfly drawing on the table. For the first time in years, the future felt like something more than survival. 3 weeks later, Michael walked through the glass doors of Grant Solutions, wearing a new badge clipped to his shirt. Senior Operations Manager. The word still felt unreal. The changes Evelyn promised came fast and hard. Richard Hale was terminated after the audit revealed years of fraud. Other managers followed. Entire departments were restructured, performance reviews were corrected, back pay was issued, and for the first time, employees were encouraged to speak without fear. Michael's transition into management wasn't easy. Leading people who had once worked beside him came with awkward moments and hard conversations. But he listened. He remembered how it felt to be invisible, and he refused to let that happen under his watch. Evelyn didn't hover. She checked in, asked questions, and most importantly, she listened. Late nights turned into early mornings filled with strategy meetings and shared coffee. Somewhere between spreadsheets and reform plans, something shifted. Conversations grew easier. Laughter came quicker. One afternoon, Evelyn texted him to meet her in a conference room. When he arrived, she stood by the window overlooking the city, holding 2 coffee cups. "Bad news or good news?" Michael asked. "Good," she replied. "We identified 12 more employees being exploited. We're correcting their salaries and issuing full back pay." "The board isn't thrilled," he guessed. "They'll survive," she said calmly. "I won't." Michael looked at her, really looked at her. She seemed lighter, freer. "You'd walk away from everything you built?" "Yes," she said without hesitation. "I spent years becoming someone I didn't recognize." She hesitated before adding, "Olivia asks about you almost every day." That night, Michael invited her to dinner. He burned the chicken, Olivia spilled juice. And somehow, it was perfect. Evelyn laughed easily, listened carefully, and stayed late enough to help clean up. As weeks turned into months, Evelyn became part of their routine. Soccer games, pancake Sundays, quiet conversations after Olivia fell asleep. They argued sometimes, especially about work-life balance. But they talked it through, they learned. One evening, while cleaning the kitchen together, Evelyn hesitated. "Olivia asked me something today." Michael froze. "What?" "She asked if I was going to be her new mom." Silence filled the room. "I told her families come in many forms," Evelyn said softly. "But I wanted to say yes." Michael pulled her close. "Why didn't you?" "Because I'm scared," she admitted. "I've never wanted anything this much." "I love you," Michael said simply. Tears filled Evelyn's eyes. "I love you too." From the hallway, Olivia's sleepy voice called out, "Are you being mushy again?" They laughed, knowing everything had changed. Over the following months, Michael and Evelyn settled into a rhythm that neither of them could have imagined during that first, shocking night in his kitchen. The office at Grant Solutions became a different place under Michael's leadership. Over time, policies were rewritten, break rooms stocked properly, and employees felt seen for the first time in years. But the biggest changes weren't tea in the spreadsheets or memos. They were in the small moments that began to knit their lives together. Sundays were sacred. Pancake mornings with Olivia became a family ritual. She would clamber onto a chair at the kitchen island, narrating elaborate stories about magical creatures while Michael cooked, and Evelyn would sit on the counter, flour smudged on her cheeks, helping Olivia swirl the batter and teaching her the delicate art of flipping pancakes without splattering batter across the floor. Laughter filled the apartment, a stark contrast to the silence and exhaustion that had once dominated Michael's evenings. Evenings after Olivia went to bed became their private time. Sometimes they would sit together on the couch, Evelyn's head resting lightly on Michael's shoulder, sharing stories of their past struggles. Evelyn confessed the isolation she had felt while building her empire, the nights she went without sleep, the friends and relationships she sacrificed for work. Michael shared the quiet heartbreak of raising Olivia alone, the guilt of missing bedtime stories, school events, and simple moments with her because he was too tired, too trapped in a cycle of corporate exploitation. In the honesty of those conversations, they found trust. One night, after Olivia had finally drifted to sleep with her stuffed rabbit clutched in her arms, Evelyn pulled a carefully folded drawing from the table. It was Olivia's butterfly sketch from the first night she had visited. She held it like a fragile treasure, smiling softly. "She gave me this," Evelyn said quietly, "and it reminded me what I've been missing in my life." Michael watched her, feeling warmth and awe intertwining in his chest. "You're not just fixing a company, Evelyn. You're fixing lives, and ours too." Evelyn looked at him, vulnerability flickering across her features. "I don't know how to do this," she admitted. "How to be part of someone's life, to be someone's family. I've been alone for so long, and now I'm terrified of losing what I want most." Michael took her hands in his. "We figure it out together. We take it one day at a time, one pancake at a time, one butterfly drawing at a time." Weeks turned into months. Evelyn's presence at home became natural. She was there for Olivia's school projects, helping with science experiments that sometimes went wrong, celebrating minor victories, and comforting her during small disappointments. Michael noticed the subtle ways Olivia began to trust Evelyn, bringing her a stuffed bear when she was upset, asking for help tying shoelaces, telling stories she never shared with anyone else. Evelyn's careful attention and warmth left an imprint not just on Olivia, but on Michael as well. Their bond deepened as work challenges arose. Michael and Evelyn navigated disputes over departmental policies, ethical dilemmas, and corporate resistance to reform together. Arguments were inevitable, but their mutual respect and shared vision allowed them to resolve conflicts without destroying the fragile trust they had built. Slowly, the walls that had once separated their worlds dissolved. One evening, after an especially long day of audits and strategy meetings, Michael returned home to find Evelyn and Olivia in the kitchen, covered in flour and sprinkles, frosting cupcakes in a chaotic but joyful frenzy. Olivia beamed at him. "Daddy, we made cupcakes!" Evelyn laughed, wiping frosting from her nose, "and I taught her how to swirl the frosting perfectly." Watching them, Michael felt a profound sense of peace. He realized that life's success was no longer measured by hours at the office or bank balances. It was measured by moments like these, by love, trust, and connection. After Olivia went to bed, Michael and Evelyn cleaned up together, moving seamlessly around each other in a rhythm that felt familiar and comforting. Evelyn's voice broke the quiet. "She asked me if I could be her new mom today." Michael paused, stunned. "And what did you say?" "I told her that families come in many shapes," Evelyn admitted. "But honestly, I wanted to say yes. I wanted to tell her that I wanted to be part of your family, and that terrified me." Michael reached for her, pulling her close. "Why terrified?" "Because I've never wanted anything this much," she whispered. "Because losing you and Olivia, it's unimaginable." "I love you," Michael said simply, pressing his lips to her forehead. "I love you too," Evelyn replied, a tear slipping down her cheek. From down the hallway, Olivia called sleepily, "Are you guys being mushy again?" They laughed, holding each other tight, knowing that despite the chaos, despite past pain, despite fear, they were building something real, something lasting. A family, not perfect, but full of love, trust, and hope. Over the next several months, life at Michael's apartment became a tapestry of small, meaningful routines. Sunday mornings were pancakes and laughter, weekday evenings were homework and bedtime stories, and the occasional disaster, like burnt cookies or a toppled science project, was met with shared smiles rather than frustration. Evelyn's presence transformed the apartment. She wasn't a visitor or a distant figure from the corporate world. She was part of their lives, sharing the mundane moments that held more weight than any boardroom victory. At work, Michael's new position as senior operations manager allowed him to implement the reforms Evelyn had promised. Employees began to thrive under policies that were fair, transparent, and enforced consistently. The company's culture slowly shifted from exploitation to accountability. Michael witnessed colleagues finding joy in their work again, taking pride in their accomplishments, and feeling respected, something he had longed for himself. And through it all, Evelyn remained by his side, a partner in both work and life. One evening, after Olivia had gone to bed, Michael and Evelyn sat on the couch together. The soft hum of the refrigerator was the only sound in the apartment. Evelyn held Olivia's stuffed bear in her lap, her gaze soft and reflective. "She gave me this," she said quietly, "and I didn't realize how much I needed it, or how much I'd missed in my life." Michael reached out, taking her hand in his. "You're not just helping her, Evelyn. You're helping me too. You've changed our lives, not just grant solutions." Evelyn looked down at their joined hands, her voice soft. "I don't know how to do this perfectly. I'm afraid I'll mess it up, forget things, say the wrong thing. But I want to try. I want to be part of this family." Michael smiled, pressing a gentle kiss to her hand. "You're not supposed to be perfect. Just real. That's enough." Months passed, and Evelyn became a constant presence. She attended Olivia's school events, cheered at soccer games, and helped with art projects. She celebrated birthdays and small victories, comforting Olivia when she was upset and guiding her gently when she faced challenges. Michael watched, often in awe, as Olivia's trust and affection for Evelyn grew. Their bond was built on attention, patience, and kindness, a stark contrast to the rushed, distracted life Michael had once led. Michael and Evelyn's relationship matured alongside their shared family life. They learned each other's habits, navigated disagreements, and found compromise when conflicts arose. Sometimes, Evelyn's desire to control situations clashed with Michael's independent spirit. Sometimes, Michael's protective instincts clashed with Evelyn's corporate mindset. But each disagreement ended in understanding, not resentment. They discovered that love and partnership weren't about perfection. They were about commitment, communication, and the courage to be vulnerable. Some quiet evening, after Olivia was asleep, Michael looked around the apartment. The dishes from dinner still lingered in the sink. The floor had a faint trail of flour from last week's baking adventure, and a butterfly drawing by Olivia's hand was taped to the fridge. He took a deep breath, feeling a sense of peace he hadn't known in years. Evelyn sat beside him, her head resting lightly on his shoulder. "I never thought life could feel like this," she whispered. "I've spent so long alone, building things that mattered on paper, but not in reality. And now, this, you, Olivia, it feels like I'm finally living." Michael kissed the top of her head. "Life isn't perfect, Evelyn, but it's ours, and it's enough." The following weeks brought more ordinary yet extraordinary moments. Pancake Sundays became a cherished ritual. Holiday celebrations were full of warmth, and evenings after Olivia's bedtime were filled with quiet conversations, laughter, and planning for the future. Evelyn's involvement in Olivia's life grew naturally, guided by love and genuine care rather than obligation. And slowly, Michael felt the weight of 2 years of exhaustion and injustice lift, replaced by hope and a renewed sense of purpose. Their bond, strengthened by honesty, vulnerability, and shared experience, deepened with each passing day. Evelyn became not just a partner, but a co-architect of a home filled with love. She and Michael worked together to create a stable, nurturing environment for Olivia, one where she felt safe, cherished, and valued. One evening, while they cleaned up after baking cupcakes with Olivia, Evelyn stopped and looked at Michael. "Do you realize what's happened here? We've built a family," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "It's messy, imperfect, chaotic, and yet it's real, and that's everything I've ever wanted." Michael smiled, feeling the truth of her words deep in his chest. "It's real, and we'll keep building it one day at a time." From down the hallway came Olivia's sleepy voice. "Are you guys being mushy again?" They laughed together, knowing that despite the challenges, the arguments, and the occasional misstep, they were creating something lasting. A family bound not by circumstance but by choice, love, and trust. In the quiet moments that followed, Michael reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From the long, exhausting days at a company that ignored him, to the shocking night Evelyn had shown up in his kitchen, to the slow, careful building of a home filled with laughter, warmth, and connection. It had been a journey of revelation, courage, and transformation. And now, with Evelyn beside him and Olivia thriving, Michael felt a profound sense of gratitude. Evelyn squeezed his hand, and he returned the gesture. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" Michael asked. "For trusting me. For letting me into your life. For showing me what really matters." Michael kissed the top of her head. "For teaching me that love, family, and hope matter more than anything else." And in that apartment, amidst the remnants of everyday life, drawings, spilled juice, flour on the counter, they found a perfect kind of peace. Not a life without challenges, but a life filled with connection, understanding, and unwavering love. Life settled into a gentle rhythm for Michael, Evelyn, and Olivia, a rhythm that felt both new and comforting. Morning light streamed through the apartment windows, bouncing off the colorful drawings Olivia had pinned to the fridge and the small table where she often sat to work on her art projects. Michael brewed coffee while Evelyn helped Olivia with breakfast, their conversations overlapping in laughter and teasing. Olivia, already an early riser, perched on a chair at the counter, narrating her latest imaginative adventures with a seriousness only a 7-year-old could muster. She described magical butterflies, secret gardens, and wishes granted only to the kindest hearts, all while Michael stirred pancakes and Evelyn wiped stray flour from the counter. Watching them, Michael felt a warmth that reached deep into his chest. After years of feeling invisible, unappreciated, and overwhelmed, he now had a family that truly saw him. Evelyn wasn't just someone who had walked into his kitchen that fateful night. She had become a steady presence, a partner who understood not only his struggles but his joys. The little moments, the way Olivia eagerly told Evelyn about her day, the way Evelyn patiently helped her with her schoolwork, the shared smiles across the breakfast table, were the moments that made life feel full and real. After breakfast, Michael and Evelyn often lingered for a few quiet moments before heading off to work. They would sit together on the couch, hands brushing occasionally, sharing a soft look that needed no words. Evelyn had begun to understand the invisible weight Michael had carried for years. The exhaustion, the frustration, the longing to be present for Olivia. She saw it, acknowledged it, and now helped carry it. The bond between them strengthened not only as partners, but as co-parents, navigating both the challenges of life and the small joys that made each day meaningful. Evenings were equally cherished. After Olivia's bedtime, Michael and Evelyn would sit together, sometimes in silence, sometimes talking about work, life, or dreams for the future. The apartment, once quiet and heavy with loneliness, now hummed with warmth and comfort. Evelyn often held Olivia's stuffed rabbit, a simple gesture that brought a sense of continuity and care. Michael would watch her, thinking how extraordinary it was that a woman who had once been an untouchable CEO could now sit in their living room, fully human, vulnerable, and deeply present. Through these simple routines, Michael realized something profound. Happiness wasn't about perfect days or flawless plans. It was about connection, love, and presence. Evelyn had helped him see that, and Olivia had shown him how much joy could exist in everyday moments. Together, they were building something rare, a family grounded in trust, warmth, and unshakable care. Work still demanded attention, and Michael's role as senior operations manager kept him busy. But now he had a team he could trust, and a partner who shared his vision. Evelyn continued to oversee company reforms, but her focus had expanded beyond the numbers to the people behind them. She and Michael often exchanged notes and ideas, not as boss and employee, but as co-architects of a better workplace and a better life. Even in the smallest moments, Olivia asking for help tying her shoelaces, a spilled glass of juice, a soft laugh over burnt pancakes, Michael felt the depth of a life transformed. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was present, engaged, and loved. Evelyn's kindness, patience, and vulnerability had shown him that there was more to life than work. And Olivia's innocence and joy had reminded him of the magic hidden in ordinary days. That night, as Michael lay in bed with Evelyn beside him, he whispered softly, "I never knew life could feel like this." Evelyn squeezed his hand, smiling in the darkness. "It's real," she said, "and it's ours." Michael drifted to sleep with a heart full of hope, finally understanding that love, trust, and family were not just dreams. They were real, tangible, and growing stronger every day. Weeks passed, and life for Michael, Evelyn, and Olivia became a delicate balance of work, school, and family. The apartment buzzed with a comfortable energy, the kind that came from knowing each other deeply and being present for one another. Evenings were no longer rushed or lonely. They were filled with laughter, small routines, and quiet companionship. Evelyn and Michael developed an unspoken rhythm. She would help Olivia with homework while he prepared dinner, or they would swap roles depending on the day, always coordinating seamlessly without a word. One Thursday evening, Olivia came running into the kitchen, eyes wide with excitement. "Daddy! Evelyn! We have a problem at school!" she exclaimed, clutching her math workbook tightly. Michael looked up from stirring pasta, eyebrows raised. "What kind of problem, kiddo?" Evelyn crouched to Olivia's level, her expression gentle and attentive. "Yeah, tell us what happened." Olivia sighed dramatically. "It's multiplication. I can do some, but I keep getting it wrong when it's big numbers, and my teacher said I need to catch up, but I don't want to." She paused, looking between Michael and Evelyn, with her lower lip jutting slightly. "I don't want to fail." Evelyn smiled reassuringly, brushing a strand of hair from Olivia's forehead. "Hey, it's okay. Everyone struggles sometimes. We just need a little plan to help you practice. And guess what? We'll do it together." Michael nodded, offering a warm smile. "That's right. We'll figure this out as a team. No one gets left behind." For the next hour, the three of them sat at the kitchen table, pencils scratching paper and laughter filling the room. Evelyn had a knack for turning Olivia's frustration into curiosity. She created small games and challenges, turning multiplication into a story of magical numbers and treasure hunts. Michael offered gentle encouragement, praising Olivia's effort rather than focusing on mistakes. By the end of the session, Olivia's eyes sparkled with accomplishment. "I get it now! I can do it!" she exclaimed. Evelyn ruffled her hair. "See? You just needed a little help, and you worked really hard. I'm proud of you." The experience reminded Michael of how powerful patience, understanding, and support could be. It wasn't just about helping Olivia with school. It was about teaching her that struggle didn't mean failure, and that having people by your side made challenges easier to face. And for Evelyn, it was another opportunity to understand the life Michael had been balancing all those years. One filled with quiet struggles, love, and a constant desire to do right by his daughter. At work, Evelyn and Michael began to tackle corporate resistance together. Some senior executives pushed back against the reforms she had implemented, clinging to old habits and old systems. Michael supported her during heated meetings, offering insights from the floor and demonstrating the importance of fairness and accountability. Evelyn, in turn, respected his perspective, acknowledging that his first-hand experience made him uniquely qualified to advise her. Their partnership became a model of trust and collaboration, bridging the gap between leadership and employees in a way the company had never seen before. One evening, Michael came home to find Olivia asleep on the couch with her homework spread around her. Evelyn was curled up in the chair nearby, reviewing files from her office. Michael smiled, quietly gathering Olivia and carrying her to bed. He paused at the door to watch Evelyn gently fold her blanket, soft and thoughtful in the lamplight. He realized again how extraordinary it was to have someone who not only cared for his daughter but respected him, his struggles, and the life he had built for Olivia. That night, Michael and Evelyn sat together on the couch after Olivia had gone to sleep. Evelyn's hand found his, fingers entwining naturally. "You know," she said softly, "I never realized how much courage it takes to be a single parent. The way you balance everything for Olivia, it's inspiring." Michael shrugged, a small smile playing on his lips. "I do what I can, but having you here, it makes it possible to breathe a little, to not feel like I'm carrying everything alone." Evelyn leaned her head on his shoulder, a quiet contentment settling between them. "We're a team, Michael. That's how we'll handle everything, from school projects to boardroom battles together." As he held her close, Michael realized that their partnership was no longer just about fixing corporate injustice. It was about building a home, a family, and a future rooted in trust, love, and shared responsibility. Olivia's laughter and triumphs, Evelyn's patience and care, and his own willingness to open his heart had combined to create something neither of them could have imagined months ago. A family alive with hope, joy, and unwavering connection. The weekend arrived, bringing with it a promise of adventure. Michael had planned a short family trip to the countryside, a chance for Olivia to explore nature, and for all of them to step away from the city's constant rush. Evelyn helped pack snacks, extra clothes, and Olivia's favorite stuffed animals, her attention to detail revealing both her thoughtfulness and her excitement to experience these moments with them. Olivia, bouncing with anticipation, carried her backpack almost as big as herself, peppering Michael and Evelyn with questions about animals, trees, and whether she could see a real butterfly. The drive out of the city was filled with laughter and storytelling. Michael and Evelyn traded playful banter, while Olivia's chatter never stopped, jumping from topic to topic with unfiltered curiosity. Evelyn glanced at Michael, a soft smile on her face. "You know, all of this, it feels so normal. I never thought I'd get to do normal with someone like this," she said quietly. Michael reached over to squeeze her hand, a shared understanding passing between them. "Normal can be extraordinary," he replied, "especially when it's with the right people." When they arrived at the small cabin near the woods, Olivia bolted out of the car, running to explore. Evelyn followed with a laugh, letting herself be drawn into Olivia's boundless energy, while Michael carried the supplies inside. The cabin was modest, with creaky floors and a small porch overlooking a meadow. It didn't matter to any of them. The space became theirs instantly, a backdrop for memories that would last a lifetime. Over the next 2 days, they hiked through trails, spotting deer in the distance, chasing colorful butterflies, and laughing when Olivia tripped over tree roots, only to get up and declare she was a forest explorer. Evelyn marveled at Olivia's imagination, kneeling beside her to examine a ladybug and listening as Olivia told stories about magical forest creatures that could grant wishes to kind children. Michael watched the two of them together, a swell of love and gratitude filling his chest. He realized that Evelyn's presence was no longer just comforting, it was transformative. She had woven herself into the fabric of their lives, connecting to Olivia in ways he hadn't dared hope for. One evening, after dinner cooked over a small stove, they sat on the porch under a sky full of stars. Evelyn held a blanket around her shoulders, while Olivia leaned against her, eyes wide with wonder. "Look at all the stars," Olivia whispered. "Do you think there's a butterfly out there?" Evelyn laughed softly. Maybe they're up there, flying in the night sky, watching over us." Michael smiled, his heart full. He knew that even if there weren't magical butterflies, the sense of wonder Evelyn and Olivia shared made life feel just as magical. Later, as Olivia drifted off to sleep in the cabin's tiny bedroom, Michael and Evelyn lingered outside, the cool night air wrapping around them. "I didn't think I could ever feel this content," Evelyn admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've spent so long chasing goals and climbing ladders, and now this feels like the real reward." Michael pulled her close, resting his chin on the top of her head. "It is the reward. We've built something together, something that can't be measured by numbers or achievements. A family, a home, love, that's everything." The trip became a milestone for all three of them, a reminder that joy and connection were not found in grand gestures or professional success. They were found in shared experiences, laughter, and the quiet knowledge that you belonged with someone who truly cared. Evelyn returned to the city with a new understanding of family, Michael with a renewed sense of purpose, and Olivia with stories she would recount for weeks, each memory reinforcing the love that surrounded her. On the drive home, Olivia leaned against Evelyn, softly murmuring, "I like this. I like us." Evelyn kissed the top of her head. "Me too, kiddo. Me too." Michael glanced at them both in the rearview mirror and smiled, knowing that these small, perfect moments were the ones that mattered most. By the time they returned to their apartment, the rhythm of life resumed, but something had shifted. Evelyn's presence felt even more natural, Olivia's laughter even more cherished, and Michael's heart lighter than it had been in years. Together, they were not just surviving, they were living, building memories, and love one ordinary, extraordinary day at a time. Back in the city, life's rhythm carried on. but the peace of their little family bubble faced its first challenge. Evelyn received news that a few senior managers, still clinging to old ways, were resisting her reforms at Wilson Enterprises. Some withheld information, others quietly undermined her efforts, hoping the changes would fail. Michael, now fully integrated into the corporate structure as senior operations manager, stood beside her during a tense board meeting. His calm, practical perspective balanced Evelyn's intensity, and together they confronted the resistance with clarity and resolve. Yet, despite their professional confidence, the strain began to seep into their personal lives. Olivia noticed it first, tilting her head in concern during breakfast one morning. "Daddy, Evelyn, you both look worried. Is something bad happening?" Michael shared a glance with Evelyn, then smiled softly at their daughter. "Not bad, sweetheart. Just grown-up problems that we need to solve together." Evelyn knelt beside Olivia, taking her small hands in her own. "That's right. But don't worry, we've got each other and we're going to handle it." Olivia, in her 7-year-old wisdom, offered a solution in her own innocent way. "If you both hold hands while solving problems, maybe the problems will go away faster." Michael and Evelyn laughed, hearts swelling with love. "I think you might be onto something," Evelyn said, squeezing Olivia's hands gently. "Sometimes the best way to handle big problems is to remember we're a team." That afternoon, Michael and Evelyn worked late, reviewing reports, emails, and budget sheets, mapping out where the sabotage was occurring. They discovered falsified reports and withheld project updates, the same patterns Michael had endured before his promotion. This time, however, they approached it together, determined to protect their employees and uphold fairness. Michael's insights from the operations floor proved invaluable. He knew who was affected, what tasks had been delayed, and how morale had suffered. Evelyn coordinated audits and communicated directly with employees, ensuring they felt heard and supported. Despite the tension at work, the couple found moments of respite at home. One evening, after a particularly long day, Michael returned to find Evelyn and Olivia building a blanket fort in the living room. "Look, it's our problem-solving headquarters," Olivia announced proudly. Evelyn smiled, her eyes sparkling despite exhaustion. "Yes, and inside this fort no problem is too big, right, Michael?" Michael chuckled, setting down his briefcase. "Absolutely. Inside this fort, we're invincible." Olivia beamed, and for a moment, all the stress and challenges of work seemed distant and irrelevant. They crawled inside together, surrounded by pillows and blankets, sharing stories, laughter, and whispered plans to overcome any obstacle. Through the fort, Olivia's innocent perspective reminded both adults of what truly mattered. "Sometimes problems are like monsters," she said thoughtfully, "but if you face them together, they can't scare you." Evelyn's eyes misted. "You're right, kiddo. Facing them together makes all the difference." Michael hugged them both, feeling the deep, grounding power of family, love, and trust. The next day at work, energized by Olivia's wisdom and their renewed partnership, Michael and Evelyn addressed the board of managers. They presented clear evidence of wrongdoing and outlined the corrective actions: audits, transparent reporting, and new channels for employees to speak up safely. Their united front left no room for doubt. Employees felt seen and supported, and slowly, the toxic patterns began to unravel. By the time they returned home, exhausted but victorious, Michael looked at Evelyn and smiled. "We make a good team," he said simply. Evelyn returned the smile, resting her head briefly on his shoulder. "The best, and it's not just at work, it's at home too." Olivia, peeking from behind the couch, grinned. "I helped too, remember?" Evelyn laughed, ruffling Olivia's hair. "Yes, you're the heart of our team." That night, as they sat together in the quiet apartment, Michael reflected on how far they had come. Challenges were inevitable, but love, trust, and unity made even the toughest moments manageable. Evelyn and Olivia weren't just part of his life. They were anchors, sources of courage, and reminders that family could be chosen, nurtured, and cherished. And for the first time in years, Michael knew that no matter what storms came their way, they would face them together, hand in hand, hearts aligned. It was a quiet Sunday evening when Michael and Evelyn found themselves sitting on the balcony, overlooking the city lights. The hum of traffic below felt distant, almost peaceful, as they shared a rare moment away from work, bills, and daily responsibilities. Olivia was asleep inside, her breathing soft and steady, leaving the apartment bathed in gentle silence. Evelyn sipped her tea, fingers intertwined with Michael's, and exhaled slowly. "Do you ever think about how complicated love can be?" she asked quietly. Michael tilted his head, thoughtful. "All the time. But I also think it's simple when it's real. It doesn't need perfection. It just needs honesty, trust, and effort." Evelyn's eyes softened. "I'm scared, Michael. Scared that I'll mess this up. That I'll get too caught up in work or in my own fears and hurt what we have." Michael turned to face her fully, cupping her cheek gently. "Evelyn, love isn't about never making mistakes. It's about facing them together, holding on when it gets hard, and choosing each other every day." She smiled, a mix of relief and lingering anxiety. "I want that. But it is terrifying to admit how much I need this, how much I need you and Olivia." Michael's chest tightened with emotion. "I need you too. I need all of us together. You've shown me a life I didn't know I could have. Hope, partnership, joy. And Olivia. She's blossoming because of both of us." Evelyn leaned her forehead against his. "I never knew love could feel like this. Like it's part of every small moment, every laugh, every bedtime story." Inside the apartment, a soft, scratching noise pulled their attention. Olivia had crept out of bed, carrying paper and crayons. "Daddy! Evelyn! I made something for us!" she whispered, eyes bright with excitement. She handed them a carefully folded piece of paper covered in colorful drawings. Flowers, stars, hearts, and, at the center, 3 figures holding hands. "It's a family promise," Olivia said seriously. "We're a team, and we promise to always help each other, even if things are hard or scary." Michael and Evelyn exchanged a glance, hearts swelling. Evelyn knelt beside Olivia, holding the paper gently. "This is perfect," she said softly. "We promise, Olivia, always." Michael hugged them both, feeling an overwhelming sense of connection and purpose. In that moment, the little family felt unbreakable. That night, after tucking Olivia back into bed, Michael and Evelyn sat together on the couch, wrapped in a blanket. They spoke softly about their hopes, fears, and the life they wanted to build together. Michael shared memories of his late wife, the grief he had carried silently, and how Olivia had been his anchor through it all. Evelyn shared her own vulnerabilities, her regrets about being so consumed by work, and the joy she had found in opening her heart to them both. Their conversation deepened their bond, showing them that vulnerability wasn't weakness. It was the foundation of trust and love. By the end of the night, they were holding hands, foreheads pressed together, silently promising to face life's challenges together, supporting each other and nurturing the family they were building. Olivia's family promise remained on the fridge for months, a colorful reminder of the connection they shared. Each time Michael looked at it, he felt the weight of responsibility, yes, but also the incredible joy of belonging. Evelyn, too, would glance at it when work became overwhelming, reminded that success wasn't measured in numbers or titles. It was measured in love, trust, and the lives they touched. That night, as the city slept, Michael felt a profound sense of gratitude. They had faced challenges, injustice, fear, and loss, and emerged stronger, closer, and more in love than ever. He realized that family wasn't just about blood or obligation. It was about choosing each other every day with kindness, patience, and an open heart. And in Evelyn and Olivia, he had found the family he had been longing for all along. Weeks turned into months, and life settled into a rhythm filled with love, growth, and quiet victories. At Wilson Enterprises, Evelyn and Michael continued to implement reforms, steadily transforming the corporate culture. Toxic managers were replaced with fair-minded leaders, employee satisfaction improved, and honest communication became the new standard. Michael's presence bridged the gap between management and staff, showing employees that someone understood their struggles firsthand. Evelyn's vision, combined with Michael's experience, was creating a workplace where people felt seen, valued, and heard. At home, Olivia flourished. She was confident, curious, and full of joy, thriving under the love and support of both Michael and Evelyn. The little family shared breakfasts filled with laughter, evenings spent reading together, and weekends exploring parks, museums, and small adventures that brought them closer. Michael watched them often, heart swelling with gratitude for the love he had thought was impossible after his wife's passing. Evelyn's laughter filled their apartment, her patience and warmth leaving lasting impressions on both father and daughter. In one Sunday afternoon, the three of them gathered in the living room for a creative project. Olivia had discovered watercolor paints, and she insisted on creating a mural of our family story. Evelyn and Michael joined in, laughing as paint splattered across hands and papers. Olivia painted butterflies, flowers, and a small house, her eyes sparkling as she explained each detail. Evelyn added stars in the sky while Michael painted a tree full of birds. "This is our home," Olivia declared proudly, holding up the finished piece, "where we promise to love each other, always." Evelyn and Michael exchanged a glance, a silent acknowledgement of the life they had built together. A life grounded in trust, resilience, and deep love. "It's perfect, Olivia," Evelyn said softly, kneeling to hug her, just like us. Michael joined, and together they shared a warm embrace, the kind that lingered, connecting them heart to heart. At work, Michael's promotion to senior operations manager was now fully embraced by his colleagues. He worked closely with Evelyn on new initiatives, training programs, and employee wellness projects. One afternoon, after finalizing a plan to support underpaid staff, Evelyn leaned against his desk, smiling. "You know, seeing the changes take effect, it feels amazing. But seeing you step into this role, owning your voice and guiding people, it's inspiring." Michael blushed, shaking his head. "I couldn't have done it without you. You trusted me, believed in me, and gave me a chance to make a real difference." That evening, as they returned home, Olivia ran to them with a handmade thank you card, glitter and colorful drawings covering the front. "For Daddy and Evelyn, thank you for being my family," she exclaimed. Evelyn knelt, eyes glistening, and Michael lifted her into a hug. "Thank you, Olivia. You make this family complete." Later, as Olivia slept, Michael and Evelyn sat together on the balcony again, wrapped in blankets, reflecting on their journey. "Do you remember when we first met in that kitchen?" Michael asked softly. Evelyn smiled, the memory vivid. "How could I forget? It was chaotic, awkward, and yet it was the beginning of everything good in my life." Michael took her hand, holding it close. "We've come a long way since then. From struggle, loss, and fear, to hope, love, and family. Every challenge we faced, it made this possible. It made us stronger." Evelyn rested her head on his shoulder. "And we're not done yet. Life will still throw obstacles at us. But now we face them together, as a family." They sat in silence for a moment, listening to the quiet hum of the city and the distant laughter of children playing. Evelyn whispered, "I never thought I could feel this full, this peaceful. But with you and Olivia, I finally do." Michael kissed her forehead gently. "I feel the same. You've brought light into our lives, and I'm forever grateful." In that soft, tranquil night, the family realized something profound. Love wasn't about perfection, titles, or wealth. It was about being present, showing kindness, sharing joy, and building trust. They had found in each other a safe harbor, a home filled with laughter, hope, and endless possibilities. And together they knew they could face anything, hand in hand, hearts united, and a bond that would never break. The first day of spring brought with it a sense of renewal and excitement for the little family. Olivia's school had announced its annual spring performance, and she had been selected to play the lead in a short play about a magical garden. Excitement and nerves bubbled inside her, and she couldn't stop chattering about the costume, the songs, and the butterflies she'd imagined for her role. Michael and Evelyn were both determined to be there, sitting in the front row with beaming smiles, cheering her on. Backstage, Olivia fidgeted nervously, her small hands clutching the hem of her costume. Evelyn knelt beside her, brushing a loose strand of hair from her face. "You're going to be amazing, Olivia. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about having fun and sharing your magic with everyone." Olivia nodded, her wide eyes reflecting the love and confidence they instilled in her. Michael crouched beside her on the other side. "We're right here, kiddo. Every step of the way. Now go show them what a star you are." The lights dimmed, and the curtains opened. Olivia took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage, her little heart pounding with anticipation. She began reciting her lines, her voice quivering at first, then growing steadier with each word. As she twirled and gestured, the magical garden came alive with her imagination, the audience captivated by her performance. From the front row, Michael and Evelyn held hands, their eyes glistening with pride. Evelyn whispered, "Look at her, she's so confident, so happy. We did this, Michael, together." Michael smiled, squeezing her hand. "We gave her love, support, and freedom to grow, and she's blossoming beautifully." The final scene arrived, and Olivia, dressed as a fairy, released a handful of confetti into the air, twirling with delight. The audience erupted into applause, and Olivia's eyes scanned the crowd until she found Michael and Evelyn, their smiles warm and unwavering. She ran off stage, throwing her arms around them both. "Did you see me? Did you see my butterflies?" she exclaimed, laughing. Evelyn hugged her tightly. "We saw you, Olivia, you were incredible!" Michael lifted her slightly off the ground, spinning her gently. "The best performance ever, kiddo. You made magic tonight." Later that evening, back at home, Olivia lay in bed, exhausted but beaming. Evelyn kissed her forehead. "You were brave today, Olivia. Always remember, the magic you create comes from your heart." Michael added softly, "And we'll always be here to cheer you on, in every performance, every challenge, every day." Olivia's eyes fluttered closed, a small smile on her lips. "I love you both." Evelyn and Michael exchanged a tender glance, hearts full. "We love you too, Olivia. Always." After tucking her in, Michael and Evelyn sat together on the couch, the quiet of the apartment enveloping them. Evelyn leaned against Michael's shoulder, seeing her shine. "It makes everything we've done worth it. Every challenge, every struggle, every late night. It all led to this moment." Michael kissed her forehead softly. "And it's just the beginning. Our family is growing stronger every day. We've built something beautiful, Evelyn, something lasting." They stayed there in the quiet, holding each other close, reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. From unexpected beginnings in a kitchen to late nights solving corporate injustices, from grief and loss to laughter and hope, they had discovered the true meaning of family. And as they watched the city lights flicker outside their window, they knew that together there was nothing they couldn't face. A few weeks after Olivia's magical performance, the family faced their first real challenge together. A sudden winter storm swept through the city, causing a power outage that left their apartment dark and cold. Olivia, frightened by the unfamiliar darkness, clutched her stuffed animals tightly. "Daddy, Evelyn, I'm scared," she whispered, her voice trembling. Michael quickly lit candles around the living room, creating a warm, flickering glow. Evelyn wrapped Olivia in a soft blanket, pulling her close. "It's okay, sweetheart. The storm is outside, but we're safe inside. We're together, and that's what matters," Evelyn reassured her. Michael held Olivia's hand gently. "We've got you. No storm can change that." As the night stretched on, they huddled together in the living room, sipping hot cocoa and telling stories. Michael recounted adventures from his childhood, some funny, some full of lessons, while Evelyn shared tales of her own youthful escapades and lessons learned. Olivia giggled and gasped in all the right places, feeling the warmth of their love surround her. Even in the chaos of the storm, the family discovered small moments of magic. Olivia suggested a shadow play with their hands, casting shapes on the walls and creating a whole imaginary world in their apartment. Evelyn laughed, forming a rabbit shape that made Olivia squeal with delight, while Michael crafted a soaring bird that flew across the walls. For a few hours, the storm outside became irrelevant. Inside, laughter, creativity, and love reigned supreme. Later, as Olivia drifted to sleep in the center of the couch between Michael and Evelyn, Michael whispered softly, "These moments. This is what life is about. Not the chaos outside, but the love we create inside." Evelyn rested her head on his shoulder, her fingers intertwined with his. "Exactly. It's the small, tender moments that make everything meaningful. The next morning, with the storm past and the city slowly returning to normal, the family woke to a soft blanket of snow outside their windows. Michael opened the blinds, letting the morning light illuminate the apartment. Olivia's eyes sparkled. "Snow! Can we go outside?" Bundled in coats, scarves, and mittens, they ventured out together. Michael held Olivia's hand while Evelyn walked beside them, laughter ringing through the crisp winter air. They built snowmen, made snow angels, and even had a friendly snowball fight, their cheeks flushed with cold and joy. The simple act of being together, creating memories and embracing the present, filled their hearts with gratitude and love. That evening, back inside, they warmed up with blankets, cocoa, and a quiet reflection of the day. Evelyn looked at Michael, her eyes soft. "Even in a storm, even in darkness, we find our light. We find each other. That's what makes this family strong." Michael nodded, pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead. "And that's what makes life beautiful. Love, laughter, and the courage to face everything together." Olivia, yawning but smiling, nestled between them. "I like our family. We're the best team ever." Evelyn and Michael shared a look, hearts overflowing. "The best team always," they said together, wrapping her in their arms. That night, as the apartment settled into quiet and warmth, Michael and Evelyn reflected on the lessons learned. Life would always bring storms, challenges, and unexpected trials. But love, trust, and togetherness made every difficulty manageable. And as they held Olivia close, they understood more than ever that family wasn't just about shared space or time. It was about being present, supporting one another, and building a home filled with heart, hope, and endless love. Spring had arrived, and with it came a sense of renewal and adventure for the little family. Michael and Evelyn decided it was time for a weekend getaway, a small trip to a nearby lakeside cabin where they could disconnect from work, screens, and the city's constant hum. Olivia was overjoyed, bouncing around the apartment with excitement as they packed. "Are we really going? To a real cabin, with a lake and trees and maybe bears?" she asked, eyes wide with wonder. Michael laughed, scooping her into his arms. "No bears, kiddo, but yes, all the other things." Evelyn zipped up a suitcase, smiling at their daughter's enthusiasm. "It'll be a little adventure, just the three of us, together." Olivia clapped her hands, already imagining all the fun she would have. The cabin was nestled at the edge of a forest, overlooking a sparkling lake that reflected the early morning sun. Olivia ran to the water's edge, skipping stones and laughing with pure joy. Michael and Evelyn followed at a slower pace, holding hands and watching her delight, hearts swelling with love and gratitude. "Look at her," Evelyn whispered, squeezing Michael's hand. "She's so happy. This is what matters." Michael nodded, eyes fixed on Olivia. "Every small moment, every laugh, it's worth more than any promotion, any boardroom victory. This is life." That evening, they lit a small fire in the cabin's fireplace, the warm glow filling the cozy space. Olivia sat between them, sipping hot chocolate, and asked a question that made both adults pause. "Daddy, Evelyn, do you think families always have to be the same? Like mom, dad, kids?" Evelyn smiled, brushing Olivia's hair gently. "Not at all, sweetheart. Families come in all shapes and sizes. What makes a family is love, care, and being there for each other." Michael added softly, "And trust, Olivia. Being a family means supporting each other through everything, just like we always do." Olivia's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Then we're a real family, right?" Evelyn nodded, tears glistening. "The truest kind, Olivia." Michael leaned down, hugging them both tightly. "Forever a family, no matter what." The next morning, they explored the nearby forest, discovering hidden trails, a small waterfall, and a meadow filled with wildflowers. Olivia picked daisies and wild violets, carefully weaving them into a crown she placed on her head. Evelyn and Michael laughed, joining in by making their own flower crowns. Michael captured a photo of the three of them, arms around each other, beaming into the camera. That picture would later hang in their living room, a permanent reminder of the love, joy, and unity they shared. At the lake, they rented a small rowboat. Olivia sat in the middle, life jacket snug, giggling as Michael rowed and Evelyn navigated. They talked, laughed, and shared stories about childhood dreams, about hopes for the future, about the silly and tender moments that stitched their lives together. Michael realized once again that love wasn't about grand gestures or perfection. It was about showing up consistently, fully, and with an open heart. That night, as stars filled the sky above the cabin, Evelyn and Michael sat outside by the lake, Olivia asleep inside. "I never imagined life could feel this full," Evelyn said softly, resting her head on Michael's shoulder. "After everything, grief, loss, long workdays, uncertainty, this feels like a dream." Michael kissed her temple. "It's real, Evelyn. Every laugh, every challenge, every quiet moment. It's ours, and it's beautiful." They watched the stars reflect in the still waters, feeling connected not only to each other, but to the life they were building together. The bond between them had deepened, strengthened by shared experiences, vulnerability, and unwavering support. Michael knew that no matter what storms might come, their love and family would be their anchor, their safe harbor, and their greatest source of joy. A few months later, life tested the little family in a way they hadn't anticipated. Evelyn had been offered a major project at work, a chance to expand her division and take on significant responsibilities. While it was an incredible opportunity, it came with long hours, travel, and a demanding schedule. She hesitated, torn between ambition and the family she had come to cherish more than anything. One evening, after Olivia had gone to bed, Evelyn sat at the kitchen table, staring at her laptop, stress and worry etched across her face. Michael entered quietly, setting down 2 mugs of tea. "Long day?" he asked softly. Evelyn nodded. "It's not just today. It's the project, the travel, the deadlines. I don't want to hurt Olivia. I don't want to take away from us." Michael pulled up a chair beside her, taking her hand gently. "Evelyn, this doesn't have to be an either-or. You can grow in your career and still be here for us. We'll make it work, together. That's what family is for." She looked into his eyes, searching for reassurance. "But what if I fail? What if I get so consumed by work that I lose sight of what matters?" Michael squeezed her hand. "You won't, because we'll be here. Olivia, me. We'll remind you, and you'll remind us too. Family isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, supporting each other, and being honest." The next morning, Evelyn made the difficult decision to accept the project, confident in the support of her little family. Michael helped her plan a schedule that balanced work commitments with family time. Together, they created routines that allowed them to be present for Olivia while pursuing their own goals. The process required patience, understanding, and frequent check-ins, but it strengthened their bond and trust. One Friday evening, Olivia came home from school excitedly, clutching a drawing she had made. "Look, it's our family!" she exclaimed, showing a colorful picture of Michael, Evelyn, and herself, holding hands under a shining sun. Evelyn smiled, heart swelling. "It's beautiful, Olivia. You captured us perfectly." Michael knelt beside her. "You're an amazing artist, kiddo. You reminded us that no matter what challenges come, we're in this together." The project brought challenges, but also unexpected joys. Evelyn traveled for work, but always called home each evening. Michael kept Olivia's routine consistent, and they often sent photos, little notes, and drawings back and forth to maintain connection. On weekends, they created family days, where all work was set aside, filled with laughter, outdoor adventures, and quiet, meaningful moments. One evening, after a particularly long week, Michael and Evelyn sat on the couch, Olivia asleep in the next room. Evelyn rested her head on Michael's shoulder, exhausted but content. "It's not easy, balancing everything," she admitted. Michael kissed her forehead gently. "No, it's not. But it's worth it. Every challenge we face, every sleepless night, every tough decision, it brings us closer, makes us stronger. And Olivia, she thrives because of our love and teamwork." Evelyn smiled, tears glistening. "You're right, we're a team. We always have been, from the first night in our kitchen to now. I just sometimes forget how much strength and support we give each other." Michael wrapped his arm around her, holding her close. "And that's okay. Love isn't about never feeling doubt. It's about holding on through the doubts and always choosing each other." In the quiet of that evening, Michael and Evelyn realized that true partnership wasn't just about romantic love. It was about trust, honesty, support, and shared responsibility. They had faced challenges, celebrated victories, and built a home filled with joy, laughter, and emotional safety. And through it all, Olivia remained the heart of their world, her innocence and love a constant reminder of what truly mattered. Spring had fully blossomed, bringing with it a community fair in the park near their neighborhood. Evelyn had suggested that they spend the weekend there, seeing it as an opportunity for Olivia to connect with other children, for Michael to relax, and for all three of them to enjoy simple pleasures together. Olivia had been buzzing with excitement for days, planning which games to play and which food to try first. As they arrived at the fair, Olivia ran ahead, laughing and pointing out a carousel. "Can we go on that one first? Please, please, please." Michael smiled, holding her hand to steady her on the uneven path. Evelyn laughed. "Of course. Lead the way, little boss." Together, they navigated the lively fair, enjoying rides, games, and snacks. Olivia's laughter rang out like music, drawing smiles from everyone around. At one point, they came across a small booth organizing a charity drive for local children in need. Evelyn and Michael exchanged a glance, and Evelyn whispered, "Why don't we get Olivia involved? She loves helping others." Michael nodded. "Perfect idea. Let's show her the joy of giving back." Olivia eagerly collected small items, pencils, notebooks, stuffed animals, that she could donate. She proudly placed them in the donation box, her little face glowing with pride. Evelyn knelt beside her. "See, Olivia? You're helping other kids, making their lives a little brighter. That's something really special." Michael added, "And that's exactly the kind of kindness that makes a family strong, helping each other and helping others." Later, the family joined a storytelling circle, sitting on a grassy hill as an elderly storyteller shared tales of courage, friendship, and love. Olivia listened, eyes wide, clutching a small blanket, while Evelyn and Michael held each other's hands. "She's soaking this all in," Evelyn whispered. "I love seeing her learn and feel inspired." Michael nodded. "Every story she hears, every smile she gives, it's building her heart, just like we hoped." As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, the family sat on a bench overlooking the park. Olivia leaned against Evelyn, her head on her shoulder, while Michael draped an arm around both of them. "I had the best day ever," Olivia said softly. "We're the best family ever, too." Evelyn smiled, kissing the top of her daughter's head. "And that's because we do it together, love, laughter, and caring for each other." Michael added, "And because we make time for the moments that matter most. This, right here, this is what life is about." On the walk home, they noticed a small lost puppy shivering near the park entrance. Olivia's eyes immediately softened. "Can we help it, please?" Evelyn and Michael exchanged glances, silently agreeing. They wrapped the puppy in a jacket and carried it home, quickly making a cozy spot for it near the fireplace. Olivia named the little pup Sunny, declaring that it would be part of their family. Michael chuckled, seeing the joy and responsibility in Olivia's eyes. Evelyn added, "It is a good lesson in compassion and care, something our family will share with Sunny too." That night, as Olivia fell asleep cuddling Sunny, Evelyn and Michael sat together, exhausted but full of contentment. Evelyn rested her head on Michael's shoulder. Today was perfect. Between the fair, helping others, and rescuing Sunny, I feel like we're growing together every single day. Michael kissed her temple. And it's all because we show up for each other, through fun, challenges, and little adventures. That's what makes this family unbreakable. They lingered in the quiet, watching the soft rise and fall of Olivia's breathing, the little puppy curled at her feet. In that moment, the family understood something profound. Happiness wasn't about grand gestures or endless plans. It was in the small acts of love, kindness, and shared experiences. And together they knew that no matter what life brought next, they could face it with courage, heart, and an unshakable bond. Summer was approaching, and with it came a special milestone, Olivia's 7th birthday. Michael and Evelyn had been planning for weeks, wanting it to be a day full of joy, surprises, and love. Olivia woke that morning to a small stack of presents, a trail of colorful balloons leading from her bedroom to the living room. Her eyes sparkled with delight. "Happy birthday, Olivia!" Michael and Evelyn exclaimed together, lifting her into their arms. Olivia giggled, hugging them tightly. "This is the best birthday ever already," she squealed. The day was filled with laughter and excitement. They started with a homemade breakfast, pancakes shaped like butterflies and flowers, carefully decorated by Evelyn and Michael. Olivia helped as much as she could, her small hands smearing a little syrup and flour, but the mess only made the experience sweeter. Later, they went to the local park, where Michael had arranged a small gathering of Olivia's friends and a few neighbors. There were games, a scavenger hunt, and even a small magician who performed tricks that left the children wide-eyed and laughing. Evelyn watched Olivia dart from activity to activity, soaking in every moment, and felt a deep gratitude for the family they had built. Michael, watching from a distance, caught Evelyn's gaze and smiled softly. "She's happy. That's everything." Evelyn nodded, squeezing his hand. "She's happy because we're together. That's the magic we've created." The highlight of the day came in the form of a small, homemade cake, decorated with butterflies, Olivia's favorite. As she blew out the candles, she made a wish, and her parents exchanged knowing smiles, silently wishing for the same thing: continued love, joy, and togetherness for their little family. After the party, they returned home, exhausted but glowing. Olivia curled up on the couch with a small stuffed butterfly she had received as a gift, her eyes heavy with sleep. Evelyn and Michael sat close, wrapping her in a warm blanket. "You had the best day, didn't you?" Evelyn whispered. Olivia nodded sleepily. "The best day ever. Thank you, Daddy." "Thank you, Evelyn." Michael kissed the top of her head. "We love you, kiddo. Always." Later that evening, after Olivia had gone to bed, Michael and Evelyn lingered in the living room, reflecting on the day. And seeing her so happy. "It makes all the struggles, all the hard times worth it," Evelyn said softly. Michael nodded. "It's amazing, isn't it? How love and family can turn ordinary days into extraordinary memories." Evelyn leaned against him, her eyes filled with affection. "We've come so far, from uncertainty and challenges to laughter, joy and trust. And through it all, we've built something beautiful together." Michael kissed her temple. "Something lasting, something real, something full of love." In the quiet of the night, they realized that life wasn't about avoiding difficulties or expecting perfection. It was about embracing each other, cherishing moments, big and small, and creating a home filled with heart, laughter, and unwavering support. And as they held each other close, they knew that their journey was far from over, but with love, trust, and togetherness, they could face anything. A few weeks after Olivia's birthday, Michael suggested a weekend getaway to the countryside. "I thought it would be nice to spend some quiet time together," he said, packing a small bag. Evelyn smiled, appreciating the thoughtfulness. "I think that's exactly what we need. Olivia will love it too." The countryside was peaceful, far removed from the city's noise and hustle. Birds chirped, a gentle breeze rustled the trees, and a small stream ran near their rented cabin. Olivia ran ahead, barefoot, laughing as she chased butterflies through the tall grass. Evelyn and Michael followed slowly, watching her freedom and joy with hearts full of contentment. That evening, they sat around a small campfire outside the cabin. Olivia roasted marshmallows, with careful guidance from Michael, while Evelyn shared stories of her childhood summers, full of adventure and curiosity. Olivia listened intently, eyes wide, occasionally giggling at the funny parts. "You were so brave, Evelyn," she said. Evelyn smiled softly. "I just had to try new things. Life is about taking small steps even when you're scared." Michael glanced at Evelyn, then at Olivia. "I think she's learning that lesson already," he whispered. Evelyn nodded, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "She's watching us, seeing how we handle life together. And that will shape her in ways we'll never fully know." After dinner, they lay on a blanket, watching stars emerge in the night sky. Olivia pointed to a particularly bright one. "That's my magic star," she said. "It makes wishes come true." Evelyn reached over and held her hand. Do you know what makes wishes really come true? Olivia shook her head. Love, family, and believing in yourself, Evelyn said softly. Michael added, and knowing that no matter what, we'll always be here for each other. Olivia hugged both of them tightly, her little arms wrapping around their necks. I love our family, she whispered. Evelyn and Michael shared a glance, a mix of pride and tenderness flooding their hearts. We love you too, Olivia, more than anything, Michael said. That weekend, they hiked trails, explored hidden meadows, and even had an impromptu picnic by the stream. Each moment reinforced their bond, teaching them that joy could be found in simplicity, and that love, laughter, and togetherness were the foundation of their family. By the time they returned home, they were tired but invigorated, carrying with them memories of a weekend filled with wonder, love, and connection. Michael realized that these experiences were not just for Olivia. They strengthened him, and Evelyn too, reminding them that no matter how challenging life could be, the love they shared would always guide them through. One bright morning, Michael noticed Olivia struggling with a school project, a diorama she had been assigned to create about a family adventure. She was frustrated, knocking pieces of paper and glue around the kitchen table. I can't do it, Daddy. It's too hard, she exclaimed, tears welling in her eyes. Michael knelt beside her, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Hey, Olivia, remember what we always say? Big challenges are just small steps waiting to be taken. Let's figure it out together. Evelyn joined them, carrying a tray of pencils, colored paper, and tiny decorations. We're a team, she said softly, and teams solve things together. For the next few hours, the three of them worked side by side. Olivia carefully placed miniature trees, hand-drawn figures, and tiny houses. Evelyn guided her hand when she needed help cutting, while Michael offered ideas and encouragement. Laughter punctuated their efforts. Olivia's messes, Michael's silly mistakes, and Evelyn's gentle teasing filled the room with warmth. Finally, the diorama was complete. Olivia stepped back, eyes wide with pride. We did it! Look at our family! We went on adventures, had fun, and helped each other. Evelyn hugged her tightly. Exactly, sweetheart. That's what family is all about. Michael smiled, wrapping both of them in his arms. And that's how memories are made, together with love and care. That evening, Evelyn and Michael reflected quietly on the day. I love that she's learning these lessons young, Evelyn said. About teamwork, compassion, and perseverance. Michael nodded. It is not just about the project. It's about showing her how we support each other, how we grow together. That's the true gift. Later, after Olivia had gone to bed, Michael and Evelyn sat on the couch, hands entwined. Moments like these, Evelyn said softly, remind me why I wanted this life. Not the job titles, the projects, or the recognition. This, our family, our love, is everything. Michael kissed her forehead. And it's ours forever. Through challenges, joys, storms, and celebrations, we'll face them all together, side by side. The room was filled with quiet, a peaceful understanding that the love they had built was strong, resilient, and deeply rooted. In their hearts, they knew that no matter what the future held, they would always find strength in one another. And that Olivia, watching them with innocent admiration, would carry those lessons into her own life someday. As summer deepened, the little family decided to take on a creative project together, planting a garden in their backyard. Evelyn had always loved flowers. Michael was fascinated by vegetables, and Olivia was simply thrilled at the idea of digging in the dirt and watching life grow. Can we plant magic flowers too? Olivia asked, holding a small packet of seeds. Michael smiled. Magic flowers, huh? Let's make this the most magical garden ever. The three of them spent the weekend turning the backyard into a vibrant patchwork of colors and life. Michael built raised beds for the vegetables, while Evelyn carefully arranged flower pots and trellises. Olivia was the official waterer and seed planter, proudly scattering seeds in neat rows, occasionally digging too deep or spilling water, which only made everyone laugh. As they worked, the conversation flowed easily. Evelyn shared stories of her childhood garden adventures, Michael recalled the small garden his late wife had loved, and Olivia chatted about butterflies, fairies, and magic bees. "We're going to have a butterfly party here, Daddy," Olivia exclaimed, sprinkling seeds for wildflowers. Michael chuckled. "I think we need to invite the whole neighborhood, with magical hats and everything." Evelyn laughed, tucking a strand of hair behind Olivia's ear. "She's right. This garden isn't just plants. It's joy, love, and imagination coming to life." By the end of the day, their garden was a mix of vegetables, flowers, and whimsical touches. Tiny fairy houses Evelyn had built, painted stones Michael had decorated, and little signs Olivia had drawn. The trio stood back, admiring their handiwork. "Look at it!" Olivia cheered. "It's alive! Our family made it alive!" Evelyn and Michael exchanged smiles, hearts swelling with pride. "It is alive," Evelyn said softly, "because we put a part of ourselves in it. Love, care, and imagination. That's what grows things like this." That evening, as they sat on the patio, sipping lemonade and watching fireflies dance above the garden, Evelyn and Michael reflected on their journey as a family. "We've built something so real, so beautiful," Evelyn said, her eyes reflecting the twinkling lights of the fireflies. Michael nodded. "And it's not about perfection. It's about showing up, nurturing, and being there for each other, just like we've been doing." Olivia leaned against them, yawning sleepily. "I love our magic garden," she murmured. Michael kissed her forehead. "We love it too, kiddo, and we love you, always." Evelyn rested her head on Michael's shoulder, closing her eyes. "It's amazing how something so simple, dirt, seeds, and our hearts can create so much joy. That's life, isn't it?" Michael squeezed her hand. "Yes, and it's ours to nurture every day together." As the stars filled the night sky, the family sat in quiet contentment, knowing that their bond, their love, and their shared experiences were the true magic in their lives. Their garden would grow, just as their love had grown, steadily, beautifully, and full of life. As the seasons changed, so did the rhythm of their family life. Fall brought cooler temperatures, the scent of fallen leaves, and the opportunity for cozy evenings together. One Saturday morning, Michael suggested they go on a family hike in the nearby hills. Evelyn packed a small picnic, while Olivia insisted on bringing her stuffed butterfly, declaring it essential for family adventures. The hike was filled with laughter and playful challenges. Olivia ran ahead on the trail, occasionally stopping to pick brightly colored leaves or point out squirrels. Evelyn and Michael followed, holding hands when the terrain grew steep, encouraging Olivia to keep moving. "Look at the view from here!" Evelyn exclaimed as they reached the summit, where the valley below was painted in gold, orange, and crimson. Olivia gasped. "It's magical, just like my magic butterflies." They spread a blanket near the top and unpacked their picnic. Sandwiches, fruit, and hot cocoa filled the chilly air with warmth. Olivia shared her cocoa with her stuffed butterfly, making them all laugh. Michael watched Evelyn watch Olivia and felt his heart swell. "Look at her," he whispered. "She's happy, confident, and loved. And it's because of both of you." Evelyn smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "No, it's because of all of us, together. We make this love. We nurture it, just like we do our garden." After lunch, they explored the surrounding trails, collecting pine cones and leaves to press into autumn art later at home. On the way down, Evelyn and Michael shared stories from their childhood, and Olivia listened, hanging on every word. Michael realized something profound. These moments of connection, shared experiences, and laughter were teaching Olivia lessons about family, love, and resilience more than any school lesson ever could. That evening, they returned home, leaves and dirt in tow, but hearts full of joy. Olivia immediately began arranging her treasures on a small table, while Evelyn and Michael prepared a warm bath for her. As she soaked, Olivia leaned against Evelyn. "I love our family," she said softly. Evelyn kissed her head. "We love you too, sweetie. Every single day." Michael added, "And we'll always find adventures together, no matter how small or large. That's what family is for." Later, as they sat on the couch with warm blankets, Michael glanced at Evelyn. "I never imagined life could feel this full, this rich, this perfect in its imperfection." Evelyn nodded. "We've faced challenges, fear, and uncertainty. But through it all, we built something real, something unshakable, something full of heart. Olivia, half asleep, rested her head on Michael's shoulder, murmuring, "Magic family forever." Michael and Evelyn exchanged a tender smile. "Forever," they whispered in unison. In that quiet moment, the three of them realized that love wasn't always about grand gestures. It was in the shared laughter, the quiet reassurances, the everyday acts of care and presence. And with each passing day, their family grew stronger, braver, and more united, ready to face life's joys and challenges together. Winter had arrived, blanketing the city in snow and transforming the world outside into a glittering wonderland. Michael suggested they spend the weekend building a snowman in the backyard, and Olivia could barely contain her excitement. She ran to the window, pressing her small hands against the glass. "Snow! Snow! Daddy, Evelyn, let's go!" Bundled in coats, scarves, and mittens, the family stepped outside. Olivia rolled the first snowball, then Michael helped her stack the middle one, and Evelyn assisted with the final, large snowball for the head. They laughed together, flinging snow at one another and squealing with delight. "It's perfect!" Olivia exclaimed, placing a carrot for the snowman's nose. "His name is Frosty and he's magic too!" Afterward, they came inside to warm up with hot chocolate and cookies. Olivia perched on the couch between them, sipping carefully from her mug. "I love winter," she said softly, "because we can be together, all of us, and have adventures." Evelyn kissed the top of her head. "That's right, sweetheart. It is not the snow or the cold, it is the love we share that makes it magical." Michael nodded, wrapping an arm around both of them. "And this magic lasts all year, no matter the season." That evening, they decorated the house together. Olivia hung tiny ornaments on a small tree, while Evelyn added lights around the windows. Michael carefully set up a string of twinkling lights along the mantel. Each decoration, each shared laugh, felt like another thread weaving their hearts closer together. Olivia's joy was infectious, Evelyn's gentle presence grounding, and Michael's steady support completing the circle. Later, as they settled on the couch with blankets and a warm fire crackling nearby, Evelyn turned to Michael. "I was thinking, all these moments, big or small, they remind me why we fight to keep our family close. Life can be chaotic, but when we come together like this, it's perfect." Michael kissed her temple. "We've built something lasting, Evelyn, something filled with love, kindness, and trust. And Olivia sees it, feels it, and carries it with her. That's the legacy we're creating." Olivia, sleepy but content, rested her head on Evelyn's shoulder. "I love our family, forever and always," she whispered. Michael and Evelyn exchanged a soft smile, knowing that this simple, heartfelt statement encapsulated everything they had been working toward. A home filled with love, security, and unwavering support. As the firelight flickered across their faces, Michael realized something profound. The happiest moments weren't at the grand adventures or milestones. They were the quiet evenings like this, the laughter, the shared warmth, and the unspoken bond that held them together. And as they sat there, a family complete in every sense, he knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together, with hearts full of love and courage. Spring arrived quietly, carrying with it the scent of blooming flowers and new beginnings. Michael, Evelyn, and Olivia had settled into a comforting rhythm: school, work, garden, laughter, and quiet evenings filled with warmth. Yet, life continued to offer little surprises, gentle reminders of how far they had come. One afternoon, Olivia ran up to Michael and Evelyn, holding a handmade card covered in colorful drawings. "Look, I made this for our family," she exclaimed. On the front, a large heart-encircled stick figure drawings of the three of them, smiling beneath a sun and a rainbow. Inside, in her uneven handwriting, she had written, "Family is magic. I love you forever." Evelyn felt tears prick her eyes, and Michael swallowed hard, emotions twisting his chest. This is everything," Michael whispered. "She's showing us what we've built together, a family filled with love, trust, and hope." That evening, they decided to take a quiet walk through their neighborhood. Olivia skipped ahead, collecting fallen blossoms and pointing out birds. Michael and Evelyn walked hand in hand, sharing a comfortable silence. Do you ever think about how far we've come? Evelyn asked softly. Michael nodded, his eyes reflecting the fading sun. Every day, from loneliness, struggle, and uncertainty, to laughter, love, and trust. We've built a home in each other, and Olivia's heart has grown alongside ours. They returned home to find Olivia asleep on the couch, clutching her stuffed butterfly. Evelyn carefully lifted her, carrying her to bed, while Michael watched, feeling the depth of his love for both of them. Once Olivia was tucked in, they sat together in the quiet living room, the soft glow of the lamps illuminating their faces. Evelyn leaned into Michael, resting her head on his shoulder. We've faced challenges, fears, and heartbreaks, but we've also found joy, resilience, and love that runs deeper than anything else, she said, voice gentle but full of conviction. Michael kissed the top of her head. And that's what makes life worth it. Not the work, the deadlines, or the accolades, it's this. Us, family, love. The courage to be vulnerable and open our hearts. They sat in silence for a while, letting the weight of their journey settle into a peaceful serenity. Michael reached for Evelyn's hand, fingers entwined. I love you, he said quietly, and I love this life we're building together. Nothing could ever replace it. Evelyn's eyes glistened with unshed tears. I love you too, more than words could ever capture. And I love the family we've become. The laughter, the care, the everyday moments, they're all precious because we share them together. Later that night, as they finally climbed into bed, Michael held Evelyn close, and Evelyn rested her head against his chest. Tomorrow will bring challenges, work, and the ordinary routines, Michael whispered. But no matter what, we'll face them together. And every day, we'll choose love, we'll choose family, we'll choose each other. Evelyn closed her eyes, feeling the steady beat of his heart. Yes, together, always. And in the soft silence that followed, they understood the deepest truth of all. Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. It's the safety, warmth, and love that fills your heart. It's the hands you hold, the laughter you share, the trust you build, and the courage to be vulnerable. Michael, Evelyn, and Olivia had found that home in each other, a place where love was constant, unconditional, and endless. For the first time in years, all of them felt truly whole. And as they drifted into sleep, their hearts intertwined. They knew, no matter what came next, they would face it with love, strength, and a family that would never let them fall. Thank you so much for watching this story until the end. I hope it reminded you of the importance of love, kindness, and the little moments that make life truly meaningful. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can join our community and hear more stories that inspire, uplift, and warm your soul. I'd love to hear from you too. Let me know in the comments which part of the story moved you the most. Thank you again for being here, and I can't wait to share the next story with you. If you like this story, make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share with your friends and family so you don't miss the next powerful story coming your way. Drop a heart in comment, like and subscribe my channel, and visit my channel for more interesting story videos.